think we are back online. Hi guys at home, can you hear me? Please just raise your hands if you can hear me. I am looking at your conversations here. Um, yeah, sorry. So with this load shedding, thank you so much. I see the fingers flying. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Load shedding is just killing us at the moment. So yeah, we are literally trying our best to deliver nothing short of excellence to you guys, regardless of what's going on around us. So yeah, welcome to yet another round of Candidate Conversations. I just wanted to let you guys know that today we are doing something slightly different. So we have our very first face-to-face candidate conversations, which is quite exciting for me. So this initiative was actually started about 2-3 years ago. And we started this in light of COVID-19. So our candidates were just struggling, from the face-to-face, now having to go to now having to move to online. So we did the Zoom sessions, we did all this, the whole world was just getting introduced to everything. And we just had to make it work. So yeah, our Endunamoo family started this initiative just to help our candidates to get through, just to push through that uncertainty, just to say we're here for you. We're holding your hand through everything else. So for the very first time ever, please allow me to welcome our face-to-face candidate conversationalist, Vuyani Matse, CASA. I must not forget to say that. Yeah, so everybody at home, this is Vuyani. Vuyani, welcome to the show. It's so lovely to have you, Grab a seat, grab a seat, grab a seat. Thank you so much. Right. So, Vuyani, welcome to our candidate conversations. Right. Like I said, you are actually the very first conversationalist that we've had over, like since inception. And this is like 3 years ago. So how do you feel? Don't you feel honored?
Yeah. And again, a little bit of pressure. There's a little bit of pressure because you have to get this right.
Oh, so you are like our guinea pig. Like if it doesn't work with Vuyani, we'll do it better next time. Thank you so much for joining us, Vu. Okay, no, but now I'm sure you're like, people can call you Vu, ne? We got to put the CASA. If Vuyani but the CASA. Like I'm sure, right? I mean, you work hard for this designation. Like when somebody says, Vuyani, like, CASA after that. How does that feel for you now having, that last part added to your surname? How does that feel?
I think it still feels surreal.
Surreal. I love it. I love
it. To a certain extent, I just still can't believe it.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I can imagine.
It's a new qualification for me.
Ne?
I just got it a couple of months ago.
No, but you look so humble. I always say, I love doing this candidate conversations. And I always say, if it were me, no Mazulu, who? don't even play like CASA. Even if you call me Noma, CASA, please. So I love your humility. I've had this from the engagements we've had. So I've had the pleasure of getting to know you over the last few weeks as we've been prepping for everybody at home. But can you tell them who Vuyani Matse is? Who's the person behind the brand?
All right. Vuyani Matse is a boy coming from Bloemfontein.
Bloem, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was born and raised. And I did majority of my grooming yesterday. I've been a very determined person and a very enthusiastic person from the start. I always believe like life has to have a good plan for me.
Of course.
Yeah, so I grew up in Bloemfontein. I've always been determined. Always thought that, like if I can just put my mind and my heart into stuff, I can really achieve. And, when I was growing up, I did not necessarily have a good, I did not grow up from, how can I say this? I did not come from a rich background.
Oh, but you trust fund babies, so you're not one of those.
Oh, yes. Yes,
okay. Where money just like grows from trees like this. Yes. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I do not come from a trust fund house. I just come from humble beginnings. I had a couple of siblings at home. And, I had my mom, which is a domestic worker.
Really?
Yes, and she still is. She's still working at a dealership in TT Suzuki.
She must love. She must love what she does. Yeah.
And then I have my dad, which is a technical worker at Transnet.
Okay.
Yes, so both of them have come from
very humble beginnings.
Very humble beginnings.
Sure.
Yeah, so I was a product of them, and I really thought that I have to do better in life as well.
Sure. So I'm seeing the hard work. Because the mother does this, father does this. I'm seeing the hard work aspect of it.
Yeah.
Accounting, how where in the equation did we decide CASA is my journey?
All right. I think if I take it back to when I was still in primary school, I had an older brother that was fortunate enough to go to school at that time and become educated. So he always inspired me to actually do better in life.
Sure.
So he was studying so hard, and he had this book in his room. So in this book, it had quite a lot of people dressed up in their career attire. So he would
like the doctor,
yes.
what stethoscope. Yes. Okay, yeah.
You would have an engineer with the engineer gear and all that stuff, and then you would have an accountant sitting there with a bag and having this formal attire. So when I looked at that book, at that time I was very young. I did not know necessarily where my life will take me in terms of my career. But when I looked at those pictures and those professions, the one that stood out for me was an accountant. So I just looked at it.
Why? I would think for a child, you're looking at the stethoscope, that's quite fancy. Yeah. You're looking at the engineering gig, got the helmet.
Yes.
An accountant, what's briefcase? Like what stood out for you?
That attire.
What did a suit? So at that moment, that's when you knew this is the journey that I'm meant to take.
Yes, 100%. And from there, I was just inspired to follow this career, even though I did not know much about it then. But
you were like, "This is my journey."
To say, but I like this,
So this is a book that your brother brought home.
Yes.
Accidentally, it wasn't like Vuyani, look at this. It was just
no. It was actually his book from school.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually his book from school.
Yes.
I just can't remember actually the cover was. But for some reason, I just landed myself in that page where I see professionals and their careers, and was inspired by the accounting one.
Okay, sure. I get that. So this is you as a very young boy.
Yes.
You're looking at this guy dressed in a suit, and you're like, this should be me in the next 20 years. Yeah. How do you get from there to actually, the technical aspects of it? Because I'm sure as a young boy, you're not thinking what a chartered accountant even is.
Yeah.
So sorry to everyone at home, that sound is our load shedding. So now we are back in the light. How do you bridge that gap from just being that young boy to now I actually am dedicated to studying and doing that technical aspect of accounting? How did you get there?
Well, the dream started coming alive round about in high school.
High school, okay. Yes. So is this the subjects you chose? What happened there?
Yes, it's the subjects that I chose because I basically went the commercial route. I studied economics, business studies, accounting.
Right.
When I took that direction, I think where the dream really came for me was when I, attended class. I think we had some motivational speaker.
Okay.
At the time. So the motivational speaker was a chartered accountant.
Wow. It was just written in the stars for you.
Yes,
the universe wanted this
exactly.
for you.
Right. God has been leading me.
Yeah.
So we had a chartered accountant once coming to school and giving us some brief background on the profession, what it takes to become a chartered accountant, and all of that stuff. And I took that inspiration from him. But once I saw what he was saying and, the amount of hard work that actually goes to becoming one, I actually fell in love with it more because for some reason I felt like, being a CA, you are on top of the food chain.
That's beautiful. But okay, so you had that journey. Yes. And then there we go. I believe now we're in high school. We've gone through to a varsity. We've qualified. We've got a degree.
Yes.
Why did you decide, let me go back to CTA? Let me pursue this further. So I get that. But now you've got your degree.
Yeah.
A lot of people just think degree. I'm happy I've made it.
Yeah.
Why did you think, now I'm going to push myself a little bit more? Or what was the thought process behind that?
I think it's just the desire to want more.
You just wanted more.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I can't really put my finger to it.
Sure.
But I think it's getting to a point where you feel
Yes.
like, I can do better.
Sure.
I've achieved this milestone right now. But you know what? There's more.
What else?
What else? So I just basically wanted to do more to like get more out of life.
Yeah.
And then that's when I challenged myself or dared myself to continue with the journey instead of stopping at the time.
Beautiful.
And I think as well, at the time when you get your degrees,
Yes.
and you actually graduate for the first time, it's such a huge thing for the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because I come from a family where people don't really even
Exactly.
And
now this is the guy bringing home this
yes,
and that.
exactly.
That's beautiful.
Just seeing the joy in your mother's face.
You're like, I've got more coming.
Yes, definitely. So I was inspired to go forward.
Sure.
After that because I wanted to do more to make the
yes. Everybody that's watching at home, if you've got any questions at all, I have got my phone right here and I am seeing all your messages. So please just drop Uvu any question that you could possibly have. And yeah, okay. So Muikwatlai is like, hi, can the camera be shifted slightly so that we can see Vuyani and Noma in one frame? Thank you so much, Muikwatlai. That is some excellent feedback. Also, like I said at home, this is our very first face-to-face candidate conversations. So we appreciate such excellent feedback. Muikwatlai, I really hope, you're seeing what the camera people are doing behind the scenes. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, so Vu, just to go on with everything. So now we've got a degree, CTA. Talk to me about that journey. How was that for you?
Oh, tough. Because I first started doing CTA in 2013.
Sure.
Which actually, I should give people the background for my whole life. But then I started first doing CTA in 2013. And when I did it in 2013, I was at the University of the Free State. Mm-hmm. And it was quite challenging from the beginning up until the end. I have never seen anything like that.
Like CTA.
Like CTA.
So this is you coming from the varsity background, right?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yes. So I've never seen anything like that. It was hectic from the beginning up until the end. I felt like I was struggling throughout. And then, yes, so definitely that year I failed CTA. I failed all my modules.
All of them.
All of them. All of my modules.
Not even 1 year now that
nothing. Nothing. Because again, you need to remember, I come from a background where obviously I've done all these academic years and I've been passing. Although I haven't been passing like extremely well, but I've been passing.
You've been doing enough to move on to the next stage. Exactly. Now you're thinking that competence, let me put it to CTA.
Let's go.
Hunting CTA is just something else.
Rattled me.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So this, I assume, first attempt, right?
Yes.
Then you went back second attempt for CTA.
Yeah.
How was that?
When I went the second time, I just felt like, because in that year, the University of the Free State, me and a couple of my friends, because we were studying in the same group, obviously, we had actually failed. So it wasn't only me.
Also, it was
quite a lot of people. So I think what I got from there was, we sat down with the guys, motivated each other, and we're like, guys, we can't give up now. We are already so far in the journey. We've already done 3 years of this degree. We got our degrees. Let us push. Let's go.
So, and second attempt? Passed.
Yes.
Good. So second attempt you passed.
Yes.
So I'm assuming you went the traditional route, right? You've got your degree, you've got CTA now.
Yeah.
The next stage is ITC.
ITC.
How's that?
Oh, the monster. ITC, for everyone that is listening right now, was the Goliath in my story.
That was the Goliath in your story. That is very profound.
Yes, and I actually slayed the Goliath now, so I'm fine.
You're fine.
Yeah, but back then
it took quite a pace.
It was something else.
So talk to me. To everybody watching at home, I just want to loop you into our engagements with Uvu. he attempted ITC a couple of times. And yeah, he's just going to tell us, he's just going to give us a brief background about that. So his attempts, and then I think we've got somebody raising a hand. You guys are just welcome to post your questions, and I will be able to see them on here. So yes, I see somebody raising a hand. You can just post your questions. So yeah, Uvu attempted ITC, and it took him a couple of times to just get this right. So this is a very phenomenal story that we're about to hear. If you've got any questions at all, please, like I said, just keep them coming through. So Vu, ITC, take us from attempt number one. What happened there?
Ooh, overconfidence.
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 Coming from CTA.
Coming from CTA.
Sure.
You get to a point where you believe that, I got this thing on lockdown. I really don't need to put in much effort because I've went through a very tough academic year.
Sure.
I can get through this. Psycha is not going to do anything to me. I'm done CTA. So I think it was a mix of overconfidence, a little bit of nerves as well during the exam as well. And then I went into that exam. I told myself that I'm going to make it. I went and I wrote. I think I did my best. I was shocked to see the results.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you think the problem was? I mean, coming from CTA, jumping into ITC, was it maybe a technical gap? What do you think the problem was there?
Yes, technical gap, definitely. But again, let me not say technical gap per se. Let me just say application as well.
Oh, okay.
Application gap.
Sure.
Because you come out of CTA, obviously you're very good at your theory. You know what is
theoretical part of it.
Yeah, you have this theoretical part of it on lockdown.
Very technical side.
But now you have to apply that theory. You have to apply that technical. So I think it was then a challenge for me, and obviously I was still struggling with certain disciplines. I was struggling quite a lot with management, accounting, and finance. I was struggling quite a lot with accounting as well. So it was just a little bit of a challenge for me to apply principles. Even though I had that knowledge, application for it was a
bit difficult.
Yes.
But I'm getting the difficulty in the application.
Yeah.
But also you attempted this once, twice, thrice.
Hey.
4, 5,
6 times.
6 times. like could you what do you think what do you think the lack was there? Like, why? So were you not picking it up? Were you not remembering the concepts? Where was the gap in all those attempts the very first time?
Oh, quite a lot. Maybe before I start there, let me just give people a background of the ITC journey started.
100.
So I started doing ITC for the first time in 2015.
Okay.
Because I passed my CTA in 2014. So then in 2015, I started with ITC. So I failed all those 6 attempts up until 2017, right?
Up until 2017.
Yes, up until 2017, I failed all my ITC attempts. I had to go back to CTA. But it was quite tough, that decision to go back to CTA, right?
I can imagine. I mean, somebody would be like, maybe this is my full stop right here. Let me not. But you chose to start again.
Yes.
What prompted that? Yeah.
Ooh, I think, looking back at it, I think it was just maybe, again, the idea of not wanting to give up, because I've always been resilient in some ways.
Really, I see that. I see that.
Resilient because I always thought, what, if I fall 6 times, I can stand up one more time.
Wow.
If I fall the 7th time, I can stand up one more time. Because I always believe that, this is my personal view of life, but I always believe that if people do not give up, if you are very hardworking towards your goal,
yes,
you have a vision, you have the determination to get to a certain point,
yes,
and you actually do not give up, there's no way you can fail.
That is true.
Right. So I always had that revelation at the back of my mind. But you know what? Although I've been challenged so much, I think I'll be able to make it. So yeah, going back to ITC, where I think the problem was, why I didn't get it, I think for the 6 attempts, it was because of this thing called integrated thinking.
Yes.
You understand? So Psycha has been very intentional at, trying
in the application of the critical skills.
Exactly.
Sure.
So I've been, challenged quite a lot with that. Because I found it difficult to sort of like exam papers, moving from one discipline to the other,
to the next,
and applying myself, and also critical thinking to a certain extent. Because, like I said before, I struggle quite a lot with management, accounting, and finance. So I had quite a lot of difficulties in applying myself to the scenario.
Sure.
Yeah, so I had quite a lot. And
that's what you felt the lack was.
Yeah, that's where I feel like the lack was. And some people I know might be asking, but 6 times, 6 times.
No, yeah, like I say, 1 time, okay, yes. 3, 4, maybe 6, you were there, and at number 6, you didn't even decide to stop. No. Like, maybe this training is not for me. I'd have thought, maybe let me pursue something else. Yeah. You still went back. So that's quite profound. Osi at home has a question for you. What did you do differently on the attempt that you passed compared to the other times that you rolled? So I think, I'm not sure if it is referring to the CTA or even because the story still continues. Yes. I know it's CK. I'm just keep CK in mind. We want to know what you did differently the time you actually passed everything. And then Umbali as well is asking, how did you deal with people telling you to dream a different dream, that this was clearly not for you, especially loved ones? Because I'm going to be one of those. Umbali is right. Yeah. I'm like, but this is like financially also, I can just imagine, coming from my background, like we struggle to push our kids through school. Yeah. And then when you're attempting, my child, maybe this dream is not for you. Somebody's asking, how did you deal with that? Do you mind sharing with us, like the financial aspect of it, family, the support, how did that go?
Yeah. I think, I once have received feedback quite a lot from people. And I remember this one very clearly of some other friend of mine that was, in Tutuka with me at the university.
Okay.
Still at UOPS. And, he actually told me, he was very like firm. He said to me, but don't you want to consider something else? Don't you feel like, because this is after I failed ITC quite a lot of times.
So this was the 6 times.
Yeah, but I think he was genuinely saying it from a good heart. Sometimes people, care,
hundreds,
and they're just tired of you failing because they don't have any motivation.
Can we maybe celebrate you somewhere else in life?
Can we please just stop the suffering? It's too much. Just go do something else.
You saw it suffering. So
it came from a good heart. Sure. It came from a good heart. It was just like a concern saying, but you know what, maybe there's another route for you. Stop beating yourself up with this shit. But how I dealt with that, like I said, very, very briefly in that aspect, is that I've always considered myself resilient. And this is not necessarily saying that I never had challenges of self-doubt. Sure. I had quite a lot of self-doubt challenges, self-esteem challenges in the journey.
I can imagine.
I had quite a lot of inferiority complex. Yes. Feeling like
maybe I'm not good enough.
Yeah, I'm not good enough. I don't belong in the circle of highly intelligent people. So I had that mentality of just saying, you know what, let me just try. Like I said to you, let me just try one more time. Let us see what happens. Sure. And obviously, I've been fortunate enough to also be part of a church, a local church at home that has really motivated me. Because, I'd go to church, broken, all that stuff after receiving that.
And the faith is renewed at some point.
Yeah, and, your faith will get renewed at some point once you hear other people's testimonies, stories, At the end of the day, I think in life as well, we hold each other up.
Sure.
So if someone has a very bad story, you learn to look at that story, be like, sure, my story is bad, but not like that.
No, there's a bit of hope.
And then there's a bit of hope, and then you get that confidence again, and encouragement a little bit, and then you proceed. So finances wise, I think it has always been a huge toll, because with ITC specifically, my firm, I think the Auditor General, they paid my first ITC attempt, if I remember properly.
Oh, wow.
At that time, to sit for ITC, it was around 4,000 Rand.
Okay.
To sit for ITC.
So they paid for the first attempt.
So they paid for the first attempt. After that, they're like, nah, you failed.
Me.
So you have to carry yourself.
No, but at least, so they only paid once.
They only paid once.
I mean, imagine if they had to pay like 1, 2, 3.
No,
I
feel for them. I feel for them. I would have costed them.
No, shame. Yeah, no, I get that. So, okay, so we failed ITC 6 times.
Yes.
We're back at CTA.
Yeah.
How was that journey now? Having to go back, I mean, you're somebody that's had a sit at the ITC table. Yeah. Now you're back with the CTA guys. Those are guys that are probably, fresh from the varsity journey like you were a few years ago. How did that feel for you?
A knock on the self-esteem. A big knock. I don't want to lie. A big knock on the self-esteem. You tough mentally as well, because now you don't know how to motivate yourself anymore. You have reinvented yourself so many times. You have tried different approaches. They have never worked.
Yes.
You have a lot of friends that are now CAs at the time. You can just imagine.
Yes.
They're flourishing in their career. They're doing well for themselves, and you're still struggling in that same circle,
100.
So I felt quite challenged at the time, but then again, I managed to find whatever strength. I don't know where it came from, but whatever strength that came from somewhere. Yeah. I managed to pick myself up and said, you know what, let's go again. Let's go again. Let's try the CTA thing. My office at that time, fortunately, I was quite a lot, stressed a lot with my contract, because I was thinking that after I failed IC so many times, when I can you imagine? You have that thought of your opinion, because that's what's the that adds a lot of pressure as well. I don't want to lie, because you're sitting in that position, you're thinking, if I was really, they're just going to cancel the contract.
But also in my head, I have the scenario where you're dodging managers. You see him over there, like,
people as well, everyone.
Keep your head down, be humble.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And I need to also say that after I failed ITC in 2017, the last attempt, the sixth, it was so tough. It hit me so hard. I think I spent that weekend in the house, in the same room, which is my room.
No.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't want to see no one. I just, I didn't feel like people could relate to that.
No, I mean, yeah.
Especially people in my circle.
Literally. No. Because those are people that say, maybe try,
something else. Because I was doing modeling round about this.
You were doing modeling?
Yes.
Yeah, but people at home, do you see it? I think I see it. You're doing modeling as well.
My haircut is not
fresh. Why.
My haircut is not fresh for today.
No, we see why. So, okay. So you were doing modeling during the 6 attempts?
During the 6 attempts, I think around about 2017, which was actually my last year, because the 6th attempt is like 3 years.
Yes.
So on the last year
Sure.
of my attempts of ITC, that's when I did modeling.
Oh.
So I started, and the reason for that, I just want to also mention it, that sometimes you draw strength from quite a lot of places. It's amazing. And that's why I think I've been able to become so resilient, is that you look at your life sometimes and you need to be able to find positives.
Hundreds.
Out of the misery.
Yes. Yes.
So when I looked at my life, it was miserable in a sense that I wasn't passing, I wasn't succeeding. At my firm, I'm this huge disappointment. In my personal life, I'm such a huge disappointment, my family, everyone. But I wanted to draw inspiration out of positive aspects in my life. And the aspects that I saw in my life at the time was, I'm tall.
I'm tall. You really are tall.
Let me go for modeling. Let's see what this thing can do for me.
Right.
And then I tried modeling.
And how did that go?
It went very good.
Did you think maybe for sure accounting is not for me? Maybe Jay short left me under to modeling.
My pride didn't allow me.
Your pride.
My pride.
So your eyes were still on that goal.
The CAS Asia. Wow. This has been the end goal for me.
That's been the end goal.
It has been that. When I don't know if you are familiar with the Avengers.
Yes, Photo, I think. Yeah.
When Thanos gets all the
the big guy
snaps.
Yes.
You know that 100. He was searching for that all his life. For me, I can relate to that story in a sense that has been my focus. That has been my plan A. I never had plan Bs. I never thought myself as being someone else other than a CSA. And that has been for me the catalyst.
Hundreds.
So I did modeling to get a little bit of confidence because, like I said, I wanted positive.
It was a confidence knock with the CTAs and the ITAs. It was a lot.
I was getting deflated, and I could feel it in my spirit that I'm running low, and you can't really pour out of an empty cup.
Hundreds
in life, so you always have to be filled to a certain extent.
Yes.
So then I went for modeling. I got the confidence. I did well in modeling. You walk on the stage. People admire God's creation.
Also, people at home, I know what to say. The confidence here. I see what Vuyani is talking about when he talks about being overconfident. Yeah, no shame. I'm here thinking you. Yeah, no, I rap over here. Yeah, no. Okay, so now we've made it through CTA. This is the second time CTA. We're going again into ITC. This is your Goliath, as you said.
Yes.
We're heading into ITC again. What's happening now? This is the second time you've got fresh perspective. It's not as easy. I mean, I'm assuming from like a fresh perspective, you're going to better it one time because you've done it 6 times now. Yeah. You know what's coming. You've even had CTA to like jumpstart you.
Just like kick me up a bit.
First attempt.
I think here is where you see how important a mindset shift is.
Okay.
Because
how so?
In this scenario, I was, obviously I had CTA. So now I think, principle wise, I'm back to my confidence levels in terms of my technicalities.
Yes.
But you going back again to that same ring that you have failed 6 times. So it's kind of like you get to that point, then you become, how can I say this? You become shocked again. The memories of you failing come back.
Okay, so these memories are flooding your mind at first attempt.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, so they flood in your mind again. You again in that mental battle. So you have the ability, you can do it. But I think because of the fact that you still have a negative frame of mind when it comes to this particular journey, you've been hit so many times, then I got to that same point again where I felt like, you know what, this is it. This is still the mountain that I have to climb.
True.
And it has battered me so many times.
Yes.
You understand? So I think at the end of the day, confidence again still wasn't right there. So although I feel like I worked very hard and I got to where I was because of that hard work, but the confidence wasn't really.
It still wasn't 100%.
Like
so this is the first attempt, right? Thanks, guys. Hundreds.
So I had to get back there.
Yes. So this is first attempt. How many times did you have to try before you could say, this is it, I've done it now? ITC is in the bag. Because I mean, I'm assuming there's COVID that hits at some point there in your ITC journey.
Yes.
Was that the only factor?
Bereavement.
Bereavement. Who did you lose?
My brother.
You lost your brother.
Yes.
Is this the brother that with the book at the beginning of your story?
Same person. Then I lost him. Unfortunately, he didn't get to see me with the with the end goal. Yeah, he didn't get to see me there. I think that.
I would imagine that's quite a big shock in your life. I mean, the person who's pushed you towards this journey is suddenly not there. Did you ever feel maybe I can't continue, or did you then want to do it for him as others would then have the mindset? How did you feel losing him?
Yeah, I think a big part of me felt like, yes, I need to do it for him. But then again, in hindsight, I also had to do it for me.
You also had to do it for you. With the failures that had hit you so many times.
Yes. I had a point to prove for myself that I can really do this. Sure. So I really had to sit down and reevaluate my purpose, reevaluate my vision. And also come to the realization that in as much as, there are also other external factors right there that are pushing me towards this goal, I also have this internal pursuit that I have to get to that mountain and succeed and beat the odds.
Yes.
So, I really had to succeed. Going back to your question again before that, what was the question?
Which part?
I think there's something missing.
Also,
the ITC journey, sorry.
Yeah, no, just so you know, on that note, Uyamgela Mabusela at home is saying we are here for that resilience.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, for the constant engagements that you're giving us. It's making this such a beautiful engagement because as I mentioned, we are here to learn, we are here to do better and be better. So please, I am literally looking at everything you're saying. I am loving the engagement. So please keep them coming. Yes, back to you, Mr. Matse, CASA.
Yes, yes. Yes. Yeah, with the ITC journey, again, going back again to ITC, I just need to just maybe remind our candidates watching and everyone else that I had a supplementary exam from UNISA.
Okay.
So like I said, obviously I failed ITC up until 2017.
Back to CTA.
2018 went back to CTA,
Sure.
and I still had a supplementary exam.
Okay.
You know, so I still had accounting to pass. So yes, so then I went and wrote my supplementary exam, and if I remember correctly, with UNISA at the time, the results came about in February or March in 2019. So then I forfeited the first exam for ITC. So I actually didn't sit for it. But because I didn't sit for it, I lost the opportunity. So that's another wasted opportunity because I had a supplementary exam.
Sure.
So still in the same year, 2019 in June, I then sat for the first time after passing CTA. So that's when I failed. So again, knock on the confidence. Again, I'm peddling. I don't know, where this journey is taking me again. I'm starting to get anxious again.
Okay, the anxiety is kicking in.
The anxiety is kicking in. The confidence from CTA is waning just a little, So I'm thinking I'm already 2 down out of 4, right? 2 down out of 4.
Yeah, you didn't decide, let me go back to modeling, like I'm pretty, I could make this work. Nothing.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, you're pretty resilient. Yeah.
So now I'm left with
You're
4.
4. Yeah.
So, I have to contemplate this journey again.
Sure.
And in 2020, I think I then registered with Endunamoo because I've been using other programs that I don't want to mention in this platform.
We're not.
Yes.
I don't want to mention how perfect we are. Yeah, sure.
Yes, I think in 2020, then I started joining Endunamoo.
This is COVID, right? This is
Yes,
the
around
lockdown.
2020
Yes, this is the lockdowns. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting my timelines just a bit wrong. But I think around 2020 COVID time, and we had an assessment in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, and because of COVID, it was in April or in January. Then I failed that attempt though at the beginning of the year. Again, knock on the confidence.
Yeah.
Right? But you know what? I'm with Endunamoo. Okay. We're working at this. We're working at this. Confidence is slowly building up because, the program was so resourceful. I was getting quite a lot of help from Endunamoo at the time. And then there was another assessment during 2020, if I'm not mistaken, where we had to defer the exam. Well, SAICA allows you to defer the exam because there was something wrong with the exam dates.
Okay, sure.
So instead of forcing myself to write that assessment, I decided to, let's proceed. And let's rather defer the exam.
Sure.
Right? So then I deferred the exam. And then we wrote again right about end of 2020. Yes, again, if I'm getting my timelines right. And then there I failed. Right. So it's getting intense now. I can imagine. We're taking all these things now. It's getting intense. But again, like I'm saying, I'm seeing a progress in terms of my confidence.
So you're seeing the progress?
Yes, I'm seeing the progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, if I'm not mistaken, rather, I think maybe I might have joined Endunamoo after the first attempt of 2020.
Sure.
Yeah.
So with the failures, are you saying the marks you were getting, you were then seeing it? Is that what you mean?
I'm failing better. Failing better. I'm starting to fail towards the 50s. Now I'm getting that inspiration.
Yes, 100.
So I'm starting to see that a little bit of a change in terms of my application, my approach, integrated thinking, critical thinking.
Okay.
All these things are starting to make a little bit of sense.
Yes.
You understand? So then I wrote end of 2020, failed. right? Like I said before. But then again, I'm still seeing the light.
The purpose.
I'm still seeing the light.
Sent me a WhatsApp and said, were there any occasions when the mask went off and you went, I don't know who you are? No, never. I don't know who.
Somebody who's got their mic on, but I think they picked it up. Thank you very much.
Yes, so we're getting that confidence back. The momentum is coming.
Yes.
Yeah, and then 2021 in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, if I'm not mistaken with the dates. Then I think yes, I then said again for the exam.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, then it messed
How
me
did
up
that go?
again.
No.
Hey, you need to keep count of
No,
me.
like I mean
Now I'm getting confused because of so many times I failed.
yeah, I know. I mean, even I'm like, wait,
I'm even
physical
getting
attempts number what?
You
Yeah.
understand? So I'm still like the children of Israel.
But I was a
in the
mountain,
wilderness.
but hey, the
We're
mountains,
not,
yeah.
not getting to that milk and honey stage.
Yes, yes.
And then, yeah, finally, I think where it got to a point whereby I had improved enough, my confidence was up to the stage. And again, I think with this point, it's very important to just motivate the candidates to know that, you know what, progress sometimes is not like
instant.
that. It's not instant.
Sure.
You have to be patient enough.
It's quite progressive.
It's progressive. You know, you start to get a little things right here and there. Then you start to you know, learn certain lessons.
Yes.
You improve in this angle, you improve in that angle, up until you are better.
Yes.
And good enough for a pass.
Yes.
So then, yeah, then in November 2021, that was my last sitting of ITC.
Sure. This was 2021. Okay, so you had your last one in university. Now it's last again. How did that feel though? Before you tell us how it went, how did that feel going into that exam, knowing if I fell here, maybe modeling is actually
no, but remember I deferred one exam.
Oh, you had deferred one, so I
still had some
allowance. Yeah,
I still thought to myself that even if this one goes wrong,
at least
I still have one last one. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, then it was the pressure is getting high now. The pressure is the pressure has been high.
It's been high.
It's another level of higher now. You understand?
Yes.
It's another level of higher, but I don't know, man. I got the grace, guys. I don't know where I got the grace from, but I just got that grace and that confidence to be able to just say, let me go. Let me push. As long as Saika hasn't kicked me out yet, as long as my firm hasn't said canceling your contract,
yes.
Why am I stopping?
Wow.
Why am I stopping?
So that was your motivation.
Yeah,
as long as I have not received the no from APC parties, I'm going to keep going. That's very profound.
I can continue. And by the way, at this time, I'm still paying for my exam fees.
That actually brings me to this question.
Yeah.
Was finance ever an issue when, like just doing those exams? Was finance, because obviously you mentioned that it was about 4K nyana when you started, and then your firm then said, yeah, we tried helping you, but one attempt, you couldn't make it. How did the finances impact you over so many trials, not just ITC, going back to CTA and doing ITC again? How did you balance that? I mean, yeah, financial resources, how was that?
A huge setback. But I think because I was fortunate enough to still be staying at home at the time, you know, I wasn't paying rent like majority of my colleagues.
Sure.
I did not have a car, you know, so I did not have all those other additional expenses that majority of the people are having.
Hundreds.
So at least I was fortunate enough to still go back home when things are very bad financially. But then again, I also need to emphasize of how challenging that was. Because with the ITC exams, like I was saying, to sit for an exam, back then it was 4K. So right now, I'm sure it's about 6,000, 7,000.
Sure.
So it kept on escalating. And over and above that, I ran out of study leave days in my firm. So around about the second attempt, my firm didn't give me any study leave days at the time. So I had to take unpaid leave.
Because you're seeing the vision. You are still pursuing this dream that is in your heart.
Yes. So I had to take quite a lot of unpaid leave. Wow. And for my firm, whenever you take unpaid leave, you have to motivate. So I always had to go back to my senior managers and motivate.
So what to say? This is why I don't want to be paid when I'm not working. Like I would assume they'd say
to motivate why you need unpaid leave, right?
Isn't it a bonus for them? Like, you're not paying me, bye.
no, they needed me for in the audit project.
You're one of those with the crucial roles.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But they needed me to complete the audits, finalize the audits.
But now you're leaving.
But now I have to go back to studies. So unpaid leave, like guys, take unpaid leave for about 13 days. That's a huge knock on your salary. And I think that is again
a month.
Yes. And I think that again was one of the factors that led me to failing ITC so many times.
Sure.
The financial muscle. Me balancing the finances as well, me balancing the work and the life at the same time as well. So that ability of having, because remember with study leave days, there's a certain limit. I couldn't take the whole month off.
Sure.
Right? Because then I wouldn't be paid anything. And I think to a certain extent, I would even get to a extent of owing my firm something. So they always had to ring fence it to a certain amount of days. So I got like things like 8 days, 13 days, 14 days. I didn't get the luxury of being away and studying for ITC for quite some time.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Tembi at home, I hope you answered. No, it took quite a knock in his finances. And then Uyamgela as well is asking, wasn't there a point in time when the results were about to come out where you knew what the result was? Sometimes when you do something, but like, why am I even going there? Like, I didn't do so well here. Like, he's asking about that process. When did you sit and you knew what's it? Before they come out there, maybe I'm not 100%.
There were a couple of exams. The way SAICA structures ITC is that you would get your beautiful exam questions.
Sure.
And you'll get the rough ones that mess you up. So it's always like when you're writing, it's a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes.
Right? So you're getting questions that are comforting, and then you get those ones that flatten you out. And then you go and they're average questions. It's like
it's a roller
coaster. For 2 days, it's like that. So like there would be instances where I go to the exam. It was never quite flat out that I failed.
Sure.
Right? But it was always that moment of saying that, okay, if I look at all these 4 exams, because it's 4 exams are spread out in 2 days. So there would be one that I'm like, I definitely I can get 50%.
Yeah.
In the first exam,
at least
I can have text. Text was, a might give up.
Yes.
And text will come for me.
Sure.
But there's always been like questions that are easy.
Yes.
Right? There's always been questions that are extremely difficult. So I think where my challenge was is that my extreme difficulties were quite severe.
Yes.
You understand? The ones that were easy, they were not quite a lot.
Sure.
But I never got to a point where I felt like, man, this is a definite fail. I'm writing this one.
You never got to that point.
There was always hope. There was always hope. Like,
Yeah, I know you're a man of hope. Clearly.
One exam has to be right somewhere. But I got the results, still failed.
Yes, hundreds. Thank you so much. So now we have passed ITC.
Yeah.
For everybody at home, after all this, I would literally take a break if it were me. 4 or 5 years, maybe the studying thing. Let me let it breathe. Went back in and he said for APC. Can you tell us about that? Why? Were you not tired emotionally, mentally? Why did you go and sit for APC?
Tired. I'm running on empty this day.
Yes.
Running on empty. Like even though I passed ITC in 2021, there was still an element of fatigue. There's still an element of, there's another mountain, And
I'm not done.
You're not getting to that finish goal yet.
Yes.
And if you have really studied the APC results for SAICA over the past couple of years before I started doing it, you would see that people have been failing the exam quite a lot, And there was issues the year before I enrolled with some of the candidates struggling with APC due to some connectivity issues at the venue and all that stuff. They struggled. I think SAICA didn't get the APC program
I see.
or the exam sitting at that time, right? So there were quite a lot of issues, and people had to sit for the exam up until late in the evening. So I still felt to myself that I still have another mountain to fight. I know this is again another Goliath. But I think because of the fact that APC, the exam of APC tests more like a real life, case scenario. Yes. You understand? So I always thought to myself that I've been in the workplace for such a long time. Of course. So I think I'll be able to sort this one out. I think I'll be able to pass this exam. And I have the confidence because of the structure of APC and how they basically designed the exam in terms of testing you on real life principles that I often see every day with the guru. And this was at first attempt? This was at first attempt. Imagine everybody watching at home. Like, I mean, CTA, Yambeta, we move on to ITC. ITC is like, be humble. Can we take you back a little bit? You know, he starts the journey. APC is like, now is the moment. Did you feel refined mentally, emotionally? Did you feel ready? Why did you see for APC like once and it was done? Whereas with the other exams, Aisha, you had to try a few more times. What was the difference there? The confidence, let me just say, me passing ITC in November 2021, when I got the result, it almost felt to me that God has said yes. This is my moment. Yeah, it almost felt to me like the heavens and God just opened. Take it. You know. So my confidence levels shot up. The Endunamoo program for ITC that I had enrolled for, again, the techniques that they had given us, the teachings, the learnings that they had given me, I somehow felt like I reached a stage where I felt like nothing can really flatten my wings now. Sure. I'm solid in terms of my structure. I'm solid in terms of my confidence. I'm solid in terms of my direction and my purpose in life, which is something that I also want to address, because people somehow neglect the importance of having a purpose, of setting a vision. And it's so important that I would also encourage the candidates to have a vision board. A vision board, okay. Yeah, which is something that I actually designed around the times when I was really struggling. So a vision board is basically a poster that you would have, and you would plug all the dreams that you want in life, right? Okay. So I sat down to a certain extent, and I asked myself, what do I want in life? So it goes back to asking yourself, what is my why? Why do I want to? What is my why? Yeah, why do I want to become? Why am I doing what I'm doing? At the end of the day, what is really like the crux of you going through this journey? And what is your purpose as well in life? You know, not the purpose of being a CASA, but personal fulfillment. What is your real purpose? Go to the essence of your core and what are you as a human being? What is really your purpose? And I got to sit down and analyze all of those things. Sat down with my vision. This is where I'm going in life. Sit down with my purpose. This is my purpose in life. Apart from my career, apart from what I want to become. As an individual, what is it that I want to accomplish? 100%, right? Yes. So then I sat down with all those motivating factors and whatever. And I think to a certain extent, they also managed to gauge me towards the right positive mindset that I needed. Yes. Because once you see your vision in front of you, once you see all of that in front of you, for some reason, you feel like you can do this again. Now you're working towards what you had literally stayed in front of you. 100%. Exactly. And the support structure. I had a wife that was very supportive at the time, or even now I'm still married by the way. No, I was about to ask at the time. Are we about to enjoy another heartbreak? There's only so much heartbreak I can handle. Yes, okay, so so now. So get married, guys. Get married. Get married. Support structure. Support structure. So yes, I met my wife in 2017. She has really been there when I really hit rock bottom, and she was there throughout the journey. So she has always been a very huge support structure for me. And again, coupled with these tools of a vision and a purpose, getting your technicalities right, your technical.
She was there.
Right. She was there all the time.
So failing. She's like, we got this. Let's try again.
You know what, man? It got to a point where she was literally crying with me and she had no motivations for me.
Sure. Yeah, I know.
You can understand if someone fails for so long.
I'm like, yeah, let's try another career. Yeah, true.
Like, how do you motivate such a person? You know, it gets to a point where people don't know how to motivate you.
So support structure is quite profound in your CASA journey.
Key. And whether you get it from your family, whether you get it from your boyfriend.
No, but that's really, you say get married. They heard at home.
Get married.
Well, attending a lot of Endunamoo weddings, clearly. No, that's amazing. I just want to know, you seem like such a soft-spoken person.
Yeah.
How are the team engagements? Also, everybody at home, we are going to be closing soon. So if you've got any questions that you love to toss to Uvu, please feel free. He is here for you. He's here to answer any queries that you may have, any confusion. So just toss him through. Like I said, I got my phone right here. So Vu, I just want to know, you seem like such a soft-spoken person. How did the team engagements go APC? Were you the vocal one? Were you the one who's just quiet, waiting to catch everybody's mistakes? How did you handle that? How did that go?
Yeah, I think in terms of that, I was just a little bit average.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't too outspoken, I wasn't too reserved.
Yes.
Because I think I got to a point whereby, because we've been in this journey for so long, I also wanted to end it very quickly.
Yes.
So I didn't want to go through the cycle of APC with regrets, thinking that I failed APC, I should have done this better, I should have done that better. So I think my mindset going into APC was, let me use every opportunity, let me use every tool that I have.
Let me give it all.
Let me give it my all. And in terms of team discussions, I was very involved. I was very dedicated. I really, tried by all means to give it my best shot. But yeah, I wasn't too outspoken. I wasn't too reserved. I was just...
Sure, you are there.
my team was... Oof.
I mean, building from that, we've got a question from Ubulelani.
Yeah.
He's asking, so you mentioned that at times you felt inadequate and questioned your own ability. Is this something that you have managed to get past after qualifying, or do those feelings still exist?
I think self-doubt. I think there's still an element of self-doubt, but now it's not from a perspective of who I am and my, my journey.
Of course.
Right now it's more tailored towards other aspects of my life. You understand? So I still feel like when it comes to my career, there are still certain things that I feel like I still need to fine-tune how I handle myself in public, public speaking, always speaking, certain things that I still feel like I still need to get this thing right. And I have a little bit of self-doubt in those particular areas. But in terms of, belief in my own abilities, belief in my own confidence, belief in who I am as a person, where I'm going through to in life, I think those things, there's basically little to no self-doubt in those aspects.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Bolelani, for the conversation, for the question. And to everybody that's watching at home, I think you've been hearing, Shumani has a comment before we close off. Shumani is saying, Shumani is like contacts for modeling agency. Maybe it will assist to gain my confidence back after failing my first attempt last year. Hey, no shame. I think, Shumani is right, because this is literally what you did. It didn't work out so much the first year. Like, what? I'm pretty though. I'm pretty. Maybe. Thank you so much, Shumani, for that. Also, as he says, believe in yourself. I'm taking that with me. Nobubonga, can I just brag? Vuyani is my mentor.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So for those who don't know, we've got an amazing mentorship program. He's a mentor, clearly. And then, Tempi's like modeling's the way.
Modeling's the way.
Thank you so much, everyone watching at home. And I am sure you guys have heard, I've got a co-host here. Can my co-host please come to the stage? Shame, guys. Sharing the stage with such amazing people. Please, can I have my co-host here? So to everyone at home, This is Luzubo. This is Vuyani's awesome son. So yeah, everybody say hi to Luzubo. No, yeah, we've been sharing the stage. It's been rough. He hasn't been liking me taking the shine. So, so everyone at home, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you join us again next time. Yeah, have a great evening, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Hey, yeah. Hey, little one. Come here. Hey, mommy.